So Fred, give us your thoughts about the Angel Gate, Super Angel, whatever you want to call it.
Well, I think the reality is that that market has changed a lot in the past 2 or 3 years. There's a lot more money out there. It's gotten very competitive. Usually what happens when a market gets competitive is prices get bid up, terms change. The early participants in the marketplace feel it. They feel their marketplace changing. They can't win every deal. They can't be in every deal. And I think people start to get nervous. And I think that's largely what you're seeing. You're seeing people who've been in the market for a long time, worried about the fact that their market position isn't what it used to be. And I think that's what created the whole Angelgate issue.
Do you think is there too much money chasing too small a pie?
It depends on who you ask. Certainly for entrepreneurs, there's not too much money. I think for people who used to be able to get into every deal at really great valuations, yeah, there's too much money for them. But for the market as a whole, not that worried about it.
So on balance, it's a good thing?
It's certainly a good thing for me as an investor because there's more opportunities getting funded. It's certainly a good thing for entrepreneurs because more of them are getting funded. So I think largely it's a good thing.
Do you think it seemed to get kind of personal there? Do you think that's...
Yeah, I think that's ego. I don't mean to suggest that anybody in particular has their ego out of whack. I just think that there were people involved who have reputations, and reputations are what matter in the investment business. Entrepreneurs want to work with investors who have great reputations, and there's some people involved who have phenomenal reputations, and people didn't like the fact that their reputations were being challenged or maybe negatively impacted, and rightly so.
Do you think the whole sort of collusion aspect was overblown?
Yeah, I don't think that's what people were doing. I think they were going to bin 38 to kind of share their woes and say, God, this world's changed, and how do we put the genie back in the bottle? That's not collusion. I think that's just, frustration.
So getting off Angelgate, what are some of the things that you're seeing? First of all, what sort of big trends would you be advising entrepreneurs to get in front of? What coming online?
Globalization, I think, is a huge trend. I mean, I think that plays out in so many ways, but you look at Facebook, Twitter, Google, 75 to 80% of their users are outside the United States. So globalization of web services at scale. The other thing is that there are entrepreneurs all over the world now creating new web services that are as interesting as the web services that are getting created in the traditional tech centers, Silicon Valley, Boston, New York, whatever. Both of those things are impacting the web, and they're related, but they're not the same thing. So I'd say globalization probably is the number one thing I've been thinking about as it relates to the web and our business. I think also mobile, not so much just in the sense that the way people classically think of mobile, but mobile in the sense that you can participate on the web from anywhere, and lots of new data is getting created because the mobile device has sensors in it that can share things that add to your experience. So I'd say those are the two probably biggest trends.
And what are some of the sort of interesting things that you're seeing, either companies or ideas or things that have gotten you thinking?
I'm really interested in the intersection between reputation and identity and knowledge. So things like Quora and Stack Overflow, which Stack Overflow is a portfolio company of ours. Just so people know, I'm talking my own book here. But Quora isn't. And I think that these kinds of services that sort of take social media in a narrower and maybe higher value way to help people is really interesting to me. And I think that if you look at Stack Overflow, the developers who do the best job at generating answers to software development issues have their reputations rise in the system. And on the backside of Stack Overflow is a job board. And so employees can come in and they can hire people and they can see what their reputation is. So when you think about how a Q&A site flows all the way into a job board and how reputation is the key connective tissue there, I think that's a really fascinating